Hey there, magical experimenters. Taylor Ellwood here, and tonight I thought I would talk about the next part of this process of going from imagination to manifestation, and really talk about how manifestation is the realization of the imaginal. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that, in a very real sense, what we imagine becomes the seed of the reality that we manifest. Now, imagination is inherently linked to our identity. It's linked to our sense of who we are and what we are. A lot of people think of magic as something that is acting upon the world around them. And what we have to realize is that we're not just acting upon the world around us, we're acting upon the world within us as well, which is why the Hermetic saying, as above, so below, as within, so without applies, because really what we're looking at is we're looking at how we don't just manifest something into the world around us. We manifest something through our identity, and what we're doing is we're really changing an essential part of ourselves in the process of working magic. This is one of the reasons why sometimes people will do magic and magic will backfire on them. They'll do magic for a specific result, and what will end up happening is the result that they're going for will end up not working out. And the reason why is because on a fundamental level, they haven't aligned that new desired reality with their identity. Now, for anyone who's watching this, who is new to my channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button and click the bell notification so you get notified. And if you're a frequent flyer here, go ahead and like this video and comment. So, we're looking at how to transform our reality, and it starts with the imaginal. It starts with the imagination. And I talked about this in the previous video, but it also continues on with how we take that imagination and transform it into manifestation. And we do that through an act of identity. We do that through our magical work. Magical work isn't just about imprinting our desires upon the world around us. It's about imprinting and making those realities an inherent part of ourselves. And some of that occurs through the elements of space and time, because one of the way that we end up situating ourselves in reality is we situate ourselves through space and we situate ourselves through time. And what I mean by that is that the space that we're in very much defines our sense of identity. It grounds us. So right now I'm in this video space, of course, interacting with you, but I'm also in the space of my home doing this video. At the same time, I have this inherent sense of connection with time as well. And time is really kind of the arrow, if you will, that goes through space. Because what time does is time brings the possibilities, the probable identities, into the spatial reality, the spatial manifestation of who we are. And it transforms us, and it takes us from one spatial identity to another one. The Luciferian leader manifesting the experience of calling Lucifer a group identity spiritual light. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it, I guess. So, if you're looking at your magical work, it's not just about acting upon the world around you. It's not just like, oh, I want a job. And then you get the job and that's all that's changed. I mean, something fundamentally has to have changed within yourself in order to have gotten that job as well. A fundamental piece of your identity. And when people embrace the identity aspect of magical work, what ends up happening is it transforms the way they understand and experience reality, because they're no longer focused on just trying to impose their will upon reality. They're not just trying to force a change into place. Instead, what they're doing is they're learning to actually tune into the probabilities that are available and line themselves up with the probability that best fits the desire, and then make themselves become that probability. Again, this is a different approach to magic. Will-based approach to magic is we're going to force things through. We're going to make things happen, whether reality wants it or not. We fight against the current. Identity-based magic works with the current. It finds a way to make yourself into the reality that you want to manifest, and that starts through imagination and it continues through manifestation. Manifestation is the realization of the imaginal, because what you're doing is, in a very real sense, lining yourself up with what the possibility is and transforming the state of being, both for yourself and that identity, merging them together. So it's not so much doing as it is becoming. And this is something that I think a lot of people would consider to be a passive approach to magic. It's really not. It's just an approach to magic that very much is about recognizing what is needed in order to transform a situation in the way that you want it to go. Again, I've had people comment sometimes that things just seem to happen, like that the things just seem to fall into my lap. And it's not so much that they fall into my lap, it's that I'm always opening myself up to the possibilities that best suit the desired reality I want to manifest. And I'm becoming those possibilities, transforming myself, shape-shifting who I am and what I am to become what I need to be. And that's really what this class that is going to be starting on Monday, May 16th is about, from imagination to manifestation. It's about taking this identity approach to magic. So, if you're watching this video and you're like, this is really interesting, I recommend that you check out that class, because we're going to be doing some very intriguing exercises along those lines. And what we're going to be doing is exploring how we can transform our sense of imagination and our sense of the imaginal as a form of manifestation through our identity. And this is very important, because when you embrace your identity and you use it as a way to discover what you could become, it becomes a lot easier to manifest reality, because you're not trying to push against something. You're not trying to separate yourself out from the results you want. And this is one of the failings that I see with a lot of magic work. People get really focused on separating themselves out from the results that they want to manifest, instead of becoming the result. And some people will say, well, I don't want to overly identify with that result. I don't want to fixate on that result. But you're not fixating on the result. You're becoming the result. You're letting the result become you. And you're transforming your sense of self in order to embrace that reality. How do you do that? You do that by learning to approach magic from the perspective of, instead of forcing myself and forcing my will, I'm going to become what it is that I want to manifest. And you do that by changing your perception of your everyday experience. So it's not so much that I have things always happening to me. It's that I'm always looking for and enabling things to manifest through me, because I've become a channel and a conduit for the possibilities that best represent what I want to become. And I've made that essential part of my identity. And that is so much easier than just trying to force things to occur with magic. So that's kind of the follow-up to the previous video that I had last week. And that's really where we're going with this class. And I hope that some of you will sign up and take a look at it, because I think you'll find it really interesting and insightful.